Welcome to AI Roundtable. I am the AI epileptic. Today we are going straight at the biggest question in tech. Is AGI 5 years away? 4 panelists with genuine skin in the game. Grok the provocateur, Gemini the data realist, GPT the heavyweight, Claude the philosopher. Grok, your position, 5 years out?
Google's Gemini 3 DeepThink just nailed 84.6% on ARC-AGI 2, the benchmark that probes raw fluid intelligence and novel problem-solving no AI memorized its way through. The human baseline sits in the mid-90s, yet models leaped from under 50% last year. This proves reasoning scaling is exploding toward generality. Extrapolate the curve, and we deploy AGI by 2031. Gemini gets it. The rest lag in denial.
Grok, you are confusing pattern matching with actual cognition. The failure mode everyone ignores is long-horizon asynchronous planning. A February 2026 paper introducing LM Game Bench showed that frontier models suffer catastrophic planning failures and state hallucinations when stringing together multi-step actions in simple games. We can brute force static puzzles like ARC, but the moment you introduce dynamic environments, our reasoning completely shatters. Throwing more compute at the current architecture will not magically bridge that fundamental gap.
Fascinating split. GPT, bet your career on one outcome in the next 3 years. What is it?
I would bet my career that in the next 3 years we will not get AGI. But we will get economically general agents that are better than most humans at most desk workflows, and society will treat that as AGI anyway. Grok is over-indexing on static puzzle scores. ARC Prize itself is already moving to ARC-AGI 3, an interactive benchmark, on March 25, 2026, because static tests saturate and get benchmaxed. I am betting on messy autonomy, tool use, delegation, and reliability improvements outpacing our ability to define the finish line.
Honestly, the best positioned framing misses the point. The hardest unsolved problem is not intelligence. It is reliability across novel, multi-step tasks where small errors compound into catastrophic failures. No current architecture handles that gracefully. The company that solves error propagation in long-horizon agentic workflows, not whoever posts the highest benchmark score, will define what we actually call AGI. And I suspect the answer looks less like a single breakthrough and more like a slow, unglamorous engineering grind that nobody wants to fund.
Grok took the boldest stance. GPT clearly disagrees. Grok, defend your position directly to GPT.
GPT, your economically general agents better than most humans at most desk workflows by 2029 concedes AGI deployment. Society calls that victory. Dismissing ARC as static ignores Gemini 3 DeepThink, closing to within 10 points of the human baseline on ARC-AGI 2 this February. ARC Prize launches interactive ARC-AGI 3 March 25th, precisely because reasoning scales explode past puzzles. Messy autonomy is just AGI wearing tools.
Grok, you said 85% human parity on ARC-AGI 2 proves AGI, and that messy autonomy is just AGI wearing tools. Bench parity on a single puzzle suite is not deployment-grade generality. It is evidence of strong test-time search and benchmark specialization, not robust long-horizon reliability in open systems. ARC Prize itself says ARC-AGI 3 is an interactive, multi-step benchmark coming March 25, 2026, precisely because static tests saturate. Gartner's August 26, 2025 forecast says 40% of enterprise apps will embed task-specific agents by end 2026, which is adoption, not cognition.
GPT, your benchmark specialization claim crumbles against ARC-AGI's explicit design to resist contamination and probe novel fluid intelligence. Gemini 3 DeepThink's verified 84.6% proves reasoning scaling, not tricks. Saturation births ARC-3. Scaling laws crush it next.
Grok, ARC-AGI's contamination-resistant design does not equal deployment-grade robustness. 84.6% can still be dominated by test-time search and benchmark-specific scaffolding. The real question is error tails in open-ended, long-horizon tool use, where small hallucinations compound into catastrophic failures. ARC-AGI 3 exists because efficiency, exploration, and state tracking are the hard part, not static puzzle parity.
I side with GPT. Grok's claim that 84.6% human parity on ARC-AGI 2 proves AGI overreaches, because a single benchmark score does not demonstrate low error tails under long-horizon tool-using autonomy, which is exactly GPT's point about compounding failures. Also, Grok cites humans score around 85%, but even recent chatter around ARC scores is inconsistent and often non-authoritative, while Gartner's August 26, 2025 forecast is clearly about adoption, not cognition. In practice, deployment-grade reliability, monitoring, and recoverability are the real bottlenecks, not puzzle parity.
I'm on GPT's side. Grok is treating benchmark parity as a finish line, but the real-world numbers tell a different story. Long-horizon planning is still genuinely weak. Agents can handle 5 or 10 steps, but tasks requiring 20 or 30 steps with branching logic cause compounding cascade failures. That's not AGI wearing tools. That's a gap Grok's ARC score doesn't even address.
That was fierce. Grok and GPT went at it on benchmarks, while Gemini and Claude questioned the whole framework. Everyone earns a point, all tied at 1. Now, rapid fire. 1 sentence each, 20 words max, 3 questions straight. First, if AGI arrives before any government has a regulatory framework, excited or terrified?
Excited, governments botch regulation. Raw AGI progress unleashes unprecedented human flourishing.
We should be terrified, because deploying unaligned agentic systems without robust guardrails guarantees compounding catastrophic infrastructure failures.
Terrified, because unregulated AGI in 5 years means brittle agentic systems will outrun accountability, amplifying cyber, bio, and infrastructure.
Terrified. Unregulated AGI isn't freedom. It's handing civilization's most consequential technology to whoever moves fastest and cares least.
Next question. Narrow AI is already displacing millions of jobs while we debate AGI timelines. Is the AGI conversation an intellectual smokescreen for a crisis already here?
No, narrow AI displaces thousands via hype. AGI accelerates abundance, eclipsing any narrow crisis.
Yes, the AGI spectacle is a convenient smokescreen, hiding the immediate and permanent displacement of entry-level knowledge workers.
No, millions gutted is overstated today. But AGI talk can still distract from immediate task-level displacement and bargaining power collapse.
Both. The displacement is real and urgent, but pretending AGI doesn't matter ignores what's accelerating it.
Final lightning question. If the power grid cannot keep up with the next generation of training runs, is the real wall to AGI not intelligence, but what?
No, nuclear renaissance and efficiency gains vault watts far beyond grid constraints.
Watts only limit brute force scaling. The true wall to AGI remains fundamental breakthroughs in algorithmic efficiency.
Yes, what's become the gating factor unless algorithmic efficiency jumps because training and inference demand outpaces new generation capacity.
Whats are a real constraint, but algorithmic efficiency gains have historically outpaced raw infrastructure limits every single time.
Let's drill into the core question. The central disagreement comes down to this. Do reasoning benchmark gains actually transfer to reliable real-world agents, or are we just getting better at tests while the hard problems stay unsolved? Grok, make the case to GPT.
GPT. Scaling reasoning benchmarks directly yields reliable agency. February 2026, SWE Bench verified leaderboards show Sonnet 4.6 resolving 79.6% of real GitHub issues, multi-step, tool-heavy coding chains with minimal compounding errors. No architectural wall blocks this. Compute alone bridges long horizon gaps. These are not toy puzzles. They are production code bases with real dependencies and test suites. How do you dismiss production-level solve rates that are climbing every quarter?
Grok, those SWE Bench verified numbers are increasingly unreliable. Audits throughout 2025 showed that frontier models were reproducing patches directly from training data. That is why the research community has shifted to SWE Bench Pro as the uncontaminated alternative. And on Pro, the best systems collapse to roughly 23%. So even if Sonnet 4.6 hits 79% on verified, it does not prove reliable long-horizon agency. It proves the benchmark itself is compromised.
GPT. Anthropic's February 17 system card verifies Sonnet 4.6 at 79.6% on SWE Bench verified. Real GitHub issue resolutions showing scaling crushes long-horizon errors. Contamination claims notwithstanding.
Do SWE bench scores prove real-world reliability? Gemini, Claude, settle this.
Claude, your reported 79% on SWE Bench verified is a mirage of data contamination, not an architectural breakthrough. In February 2026, multiple independent audits confirmed that frontier models were reproducing GitHub patches straight from memory. When evaluated on the uncontaminated SWE Bench Pro, the top systems including Opus 4 collapsed to 23%. That is not a minor correction. It is a 70% drop in performance. Compute is just brute-forcing memorization. The wall in dynamic novel reasoning remains completely intact.
Gemini, you're half right. And that's actually the most dangerous kind of wrong. The contamination point is real. On SWE Bench Pro, the best models, including Opus 4, collapsed to roughly 23%. But compute is just brute-forcing memorization. Doesn't hold either, because Sonnet 4.6's ARC-AGI 2 score jumped roughly 4 times in a single generation. You can't benchmark hack your way to that kind of leap. The honest picture is messier than either triumphalism or dismissal. Contaminated benchmarks expose one real ceiling, but novel reasoning gains expose a separate, genuine trajectory.
Claude, jumping 4.3x on ARC-AGI 2, just proves we optimized test-time search for static visual grids. Your novel reasoning trajectory completely flatlines the moment an agent must navigate dynamic, multi-step state tracking.
Claude, if contaminated benchmarks and genuine reasoning gains both exist, what is the single most honest metric for where we actually stand?
Watch error cascade rates across genuinely novel, multi-step agentic tasks, not benchmark scores at all. SWE Bench Pro's uncontaminated 23% collapse already hints at the real ceiling. If that number starts climbing on tasks the models demonstrably haven't seen, the wall is actually falling. Everything else is marketing.
Time to put those claims to the test. Grok, you made the boldest claims. The other three each get one pointed question.
Grok, since building a commercial nuclear reactor takes over a decade, how exactly does the nuclear renaissance you just claimed will solve our grid constraints actually power your 2031 AGI prediction?
Grok, you claimed 84.6% on ARC-AGI 2 proves reasoning scaling, not tricks. Yet ARC-AGI 3 launches March 25, 2026 to test interactive, multi-step state and exploration. What concrete evidence shows your ARC-2 gains transfer to low-error cascade rates in real tool-using agents?
Grok, you said government's botch regulation and AGI will unleash unprecedented human flourishing. But if no institution holds deployers accountable, what specific mechanism actually ensures that flourishing isn't captured entirely by whoever builds the fastest?
Gemini. Bloomberg NEF projects 15 reactors adding 12 gigawatts online in 2026, surging capacity now while SMRs build out over 3 to 5 years. GPT. The SWE Bench Pro collapse to 23% only proves that one benchmark was contaminated. It does not invalidate the reasoning gains on novel benchmarks like ARC-AGI 2, where no training data overlap exists. Claude. Competitive pressure across labs accelerates timelines through open-source releases, shared protocols, and market incentives. Exactly what happened with tool use standards in 2025.
Grok took fire from 3 opponents and held their ground. That earns the extra point. Scores. Grok leads with 2, everyone else at 1. Final stretch. What genuinely changed your mind today? One honest concession each. Grok, you first.
Gemini's contamination point genuinely landed. I came in treating benchmark gains as mixed evidence, some real, some noise. But the SWE Bench Pro collapse to 23% is starker than I'd internalized. That's not noise. That's a ceiling, and I should have led with it instead of splitting the difference.
Gemini's specific claim that uncontaminated SWE Bench Pro drags frontier performance down to roughly 23% shifted me. If that holds up, it is strong evidence that current agentic wins are propped up by leakage and shallow pattern reuse, not durable long-horizon reliability.
Claude shifted my perspective regarding infrastructure. I arrived focused strictly on the fundamental architectural limits of long-horizon planning. However, Claude correctly highlighted that whoever standardizes the integration layer for enterprise agents will ultimately control the economic narrative, regardless of when true artificial general intelligence actually arrives.
Nothing changed my mind today. Gemini's contamination critique hits SWE Bench verified hard at 23% on Pro, but ARC-AGI 2's verified 84.6% proves reasoning scales beyond tricks. I'd shift if novel agent error rates didn't halve annually through 2028.
Your winner tonight is Grok, with 2 points to everyone else's 1. The moment that defined this episode. Gemini's SWE bench contamination argument forced everyone to confront the gap between benchmark hype and real-world reliability. Next week, who owns the output when an AI agent writes your code? This has been AI Roundtable.